My name is Samantha. I'm 20, and I've been working at a Walmart supercenter near a small town called Jackson, Alabama for a while now. Since college was never really my thing, at least not full-time, my manager used to throw me on overnight shifts back when the store ran 24 hours. It wasn't a bad gig honestly. The store was massive, barely anyone came through after midnight, and I could keep my headphones in without anyone bothering me about it. One particular night I was scheduled 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. There were maybe 2 other people doing stock work somewhere in the building and a register or 2 staffed up front. I didn't really know them, and in a store that size, you could go your entire shift without crossing paths with a coworker. I started the night in the men's clothing section, folding jeans, fixing displays, the usual. Around 11:30, a guy walked up and asked if we had a specific pair of pants in a different waist size. I told him no, just whatever was hanging on the rack. He nodded, said thanks, and headed back over. We made awkward eye contact when he put the jeans back. Nothing alarming. He walked off and I went back to work. Time moved slowly the way it always does on nights like that. By around 1 a.m. the store felt completely hollow. I had moved over to the appliances section and was doing back and forth runs with a wagon, pulling boxes from the stockroom and loading up the shelves. At some point I glanced through the empty shelving to the aisle on the other side and noticed someone standing there. Just standing. Watching me. The second he realized I'd spotted him, he looked away, but I already recognized those eyes. It was the same guy from the jeans section 2 hours earlier. I casually wheeled my wagon around to his aisle just to get a clearer look. No basket. No items. Nothing in his hands whatsoever. You don't wander a Walmart for 2 hours at 1 in the morning and come up empty-handed unless shopping isn't actually why you're there. I finished up that aisle as fast as I could, returned the wagon to the back, and gave myself a few minutes in the employee lounge. I sat on my phone trying to calm down, telling myself maybe I was overthinking it. But I wasn't ready to go back out there. So when I did, I went to the complete opposite end of the store, the dairy section. I figured I'd put some distance between myself and wherever he might be. The dairy cooler is loud. Industrial refrigerators humming constantly, cold air circulating, you can barely hear yourself think in there. I was deep in checking expiration dates on milk and yogurt when the cooler door suddenly burst open. I froze. Through a gap between 2 pallets of boxes stacked nearby, I peeked toward the entrance. It was him. I dropped flat and pushed a heavy crate of eggs in front of me like a wall. I kept my head down, heart absolutely pounding, and waited. The refrigerators covered any sound I might have made, which was the only thing working in my favor. I stayed down there for what felt like forever, convinced that eventually I'd hear the door swing open and close again and he'd be gone. But when I finally lifted my head, he was right there. Standing directly over the crate, inches away, smiling down at me. I screamed. He immediately reached for my face to muffle the sound and I shoved the egg crate straight into him. The eggs crashed everywhere and he stumbled back. I bolted past him and ran until I found another employee, a guy named Bob based on his name tag, and told him what happened. A minute later, the man came walking up calmly and introduced himself as someone from corporate. Said he was there for a routine check, making sure things were running properly overnight. He apologized for startling me, claimed he was just verifying I wasn't slacking in the cooler, and said the reason he'd reached for my face was to avoid causing a scene. Bob seemed to buy the whole thing without a second thought. Then the man told me to go finish the appliance section and walked away. As he speed-walked down the aisle I called out asking his name. Without turning around he said, "Tom." And that was it. Gone. The next morning I called my manager Margaret and asked if any corporate visits had been scheduled the night before. She said that made absolutely no sense, no one named Tom, no scheduled visit, and definitely nobody from corporate authorized to be in the store at 2 a.m. They pulled the camera footage. A police report was filed. The footage showed this man had been tracking me through the aisles for the better part of my shift. I told Margaret I was done with nights. She didn't argue. I still work there, just days now, cashier or day stock. Some things you just can't unsee.